mentorship session for innovators organized by Institution Innovation Council of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. I am Madhumita Ray, Assistant Professor of Computer Science and Engineering Department, a privilege to be the host of today's session. So before starting the session, here is the brief profile of today's speaker. So our today's speaker is Mr. Raj Rakshit. He is a researcher at TCS RNI for last 6 years. He has completed his ME in ECE on 2015 from IIEST, formerly known as BESU, on signal processing specializations. His research interests are radar signal processing, sensors and systems, acoustic signal processing, etc. He has 19 granted patents worldwide, another 5 in pipeline, 3 journals, 9 conference publications, and 1 book chapter publications till date. So the next session is over to you, sir. Hello?
Yeah, am I audible, visible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yeah. So thank you for the lovely introduction. Can I start now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, my apologies. I am very new to this Zoom platform. Actually, today I just installed it. I have never used it. So bear with me if I make some silly mistakes for not knowing the platform really well. With that being said, so just tell me one thing, Madhumita, is it a mixed batch of students or is it like a focused ECE third year kind of thing?
No, sir. This is a mixed batch of students. CSE, ECE, ME, civils, all the students.
So it becomes even more abstract for me to address a topic on mentorship on innovators for such a diverse audience. And that too in just 1 hour. So what I did is I haven't prepared, or I'm not going to present any slide for the most of the part. There is one small portion where I want to talk about my personal work at my lab. There I want to show a PPT. Other than that, to all the participants, to all the students, feel free to stop me at any point in time. I have a few 5-6 pointers in my mind. The intention is to, in some way, inspire you, help you to have the mindset of research in mind, and most importantly, to stick to your core engineering, discipline. It doesn't matter which trade you are in. So this will be the goal of this talk. In 1 hour, I think it is impossible to mentor someone for a large task like innovation, but I think we can set the track right if things are told in a right tone. So having said that, at the end of the session, if time permits, I will definitely would love to hear if there are any questions, and to balance it out, I will start with a few questions of my own. Feel free to pitch in, feel free to answer. Do not consider this as a very robust, a very formal discussion. Consider this as a very free technical adda discussion, and please feel to interact with me. Otherwise, if I blabber for 1 hour, things will be it will get boring. Okay, so my so the first question that I have in mind. So can you tell me what is the difference? Any one of you can tell me what is the difference between science and technology? Okay, so in most of the engineering colleges will have the word technology in their name, like MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It has the word technology in its name, but not science. Although after board exams, we all took the science stream and not accountancy, not commerce, not arts, and we land in an engineering college like I did 6 years back, 7 years back, and now we are all into technology. So can anyone just tell me what is the difference between science and technology? Anybody? So just feel free.
Students, do you have any idea about science and technology? Do you know what is science and what is technology?
So feel
Sir,
free to answer.
according to me,
Yeah.
science actually is a fact, is a true fact, and what we need to follow. And there may be some theorems, maybe some derivations,
Exactly.
anything can be there in the science.
Exactly.
But technology is the applications of these things. When we
Correct.
apply these things in our day-to-day life and we get something, we can achieve something, and that is the manifestations of science, we can say. That is the technology, according to me.
Absolutely, you are absolutely right. Even I'm with you. I feel that science is the study and understanding through experimentation, of course, of natural phenomena. Okay,
Yeah.
so the questions like why the sky is blue, why the apple fall in the ground and not go up, these are the questions. These are the phenomena that occur in nature. When you study them through experimentations, you are basically dealing with science. And when you are applying that knowledge systematically to build something for the mankind, it is your technology. Science never changes. Okay, Newtonian physics will never change. Okay, all those theorems, all those laws, they will never change. As you said, as you rightly pointed out, it is all about laws, theorems, and principles, whereas technology, it is all about process and product and design. Okay, so I would like to put it in a very informal way. So science doesn't have the room for jugaad. Okay, if you know the word jugaad, if you don't know, you will definitely know it the moment you step into the industry and engineering firm per se. You will understand the meaning of it. But in technology, there is always room for jugaad. Even they say that the better jugaru you are, the better engineer you are in many ways. Okay, so this is the broad difference between science and technology. We are into technology as a part of engineering students, as a part of engineering college. Now can anybody tell me, and if any student chip in, I'll be really thankful to you, and I'll be really glad. See, you have to understand, I'm not your professor. I'm not going to grade you. At the day's end, I am going to get a feedback. So in this virtual setup, if anybody has to be afraid, that's me, not you. So feel free to talk to me and feel free to interact and make this this 1 hour really fruitful for all of us. So can somebody just tell me what is the difference between discovery and innovation? Since we are talking about innovation today, what is the difference between discovery and innovation? Can anyone just tell anything that comes up to your mind?
Students answer the questions. I think
Just
you
feel
know
free. You
about
can answer in any language. I do understand Bengali, Hindi, English, although I cannot speak Hindi fluently. Just come up with an answer.
তোমরা যদি কেউ বাংলায় বলতে চাও বলতে পারো।
স্যার আমি বলছি ডিসকভারি বলতে গেলে যে জিনিসটা আগের থেকে আছে, যার উপস্থিতি আগের থেকে আছে সেইটাকে খুঁজে বের করা।
Absolutely correct.
আর ইনোভেশন হচ্ছে নতুন একটা জিনিসকে ইনোভেশন করে।
Absolutely.
What
is your name? Sir, what is your name?
অনির্বাণ বেরা।
Thank you for the answer. He is absolutely correct. Discovery is finding something which already exists but was kept secret for some reason. For example, Christopher Columbus discovered America. America was there for eternity, right? He just nobody went there. He was the first guy to go there, and so he discovered it. But I cannot say that somebody discovered an iPhone. No, somebody invented, a team invented an iPhone. Why? Because all the engineering stuffs, all the chips, all the communication, all the RF, all the science and technology was there. It was put to make a better version of it. Okay, so this is the difference between discovery and innovation. And innovation is what we are talking today. So that thing is done. I have a monitor set up in front of me where I have written a few points. The next point I'm going to talk about is, since we are talking about mentorship towards innovation, so you need to understand how the process of innovation works. Okay, so basically there are two ways. Nowadays there are three ways, very broadly I'm talking about. When you go into the research field, you will understand what I mean a much better way rather than hearing it from me. So first one is the physics driven model. Okay, now physics driven model, are researches where you work with real physical systems, and they will always impose physical constraints on your outcome. So for those who are in electronics trade, maybe third year or higher, maybe for those who have studied a little bit of signals and systems, will understand what I say. Any combination of, let's say, RC, resistors and capacitors, will form a filter. Now, a filter, you might come up with a filter design which is the best in class in terms of noise performance. You have the best possible bandwidth. Okay. Now, here is the constraint. If you increase the bandwidth, okay, you will invite more noise. If you decrease the bandwidth, you will have a very sharp filter. Okay. Now, let's say you decide someday that I'm going to invent the best possible filter with the best possible time response. So you come up with the best possible narrowband design. The issue is, the narrower a filter is, the higher is the settling time. Okay. So it will not be stable until a certain amount of time. The narrower it is, the higher is the time. It is a physical constraint. Okay. For a physics driven model, it is a physical constraint. You cannot go beyond that. Okay. So what does it tell? It tells you that you basically cannot design a super fidelity filter with super bandpass response, which is real time. Are you getting my point? You cannot design a hi-fi filter with the best possible noise reduction inbuilt, which works real time. No, it won't happen because of the settling time. So this is the physics driven approach. The next is very interesting and very, very popular nowadays, is the data driven approach. So here is the philosophy. There are certain patterns in a data that our human eye, that our human intelligence cannot comprehend, but a computer can. Okay. For example, I can give you, thousands of breathing data or any data, let's say RF data or acoustic data. You can do any kind of transformation known to you. You can, do FFT, you can do wavelet and whatnot, or any other tool, STFT. But what are you doing? You are looking at a specific section of the signal and trying to find patterns in them, and then you will do some inferences and come up with your result, whatever your goal is, end goal is. The thing is, a computer can look at the entire stretch of data at one go, and it can do it for thousands and thousands and thousands of data in one shot. And then it can do it repeatedly, which is called the trials. This basically originated the idea of machine learning, of big data, of AI, which is basically taking up all the recent jobs, and why we need more innovators than guys working in IT, regular IT, which is the basis of today's talk, right? So that is also there. One example would be, like, if I have to name a very new one, I would call, so there is a research on how to do personification from your breathing gesture. Okay, I'm not talking about your breathing data. I'm talking about your breathing gesture, how you breathe. So to give an example, all of us have a unique fingerprint, right? So that the entire technology of security based on fingerprint is based on the scientific fact that all of our fingerprints are unique in some way. So now new research bodies are, suggesting that our breathing gesture, the way we breathe in and the way we breathe out, the time we take, the slew rate, and etc., this is very unique for a particular person. Okay, if you want to look it up, you should look it up. Professor Dr. Archon Mishra from SMU, Singapore Management University. I have had the privilege to work with him for 1 year. I have met him thrice in our lab. For all the future researchers, okay, there are 3 types of papers. There are papers, there are good papers, and there are absolutely fantastic papers. Okay, you need to find out who all are these people in your particular domain can write the 3rd type. Okay, Professor Archon Mishra is one of them. He writes absolutely stunning, beautiful papers. If you read them, you will find that you are not reading any technical jargon. You are reading a storybook. And I insist all of you to look him up on Google, and just on your weekends, pandemic situation is going on. You have much more time at your disposal. Use it to read his papers or anybody else's for that matter, and you'll have the hang of how to approach a given problem in a systematic way and how to report it. Reporting is also important. Okay. Now the another example would be let us talk about this. So all of you are aware of this pandemic situation, and all of you are aware of the scarcity of oximeters. Okay, so I hope you all know the oximeter device, right? You have to put your finger inside, it gives you SpO2, which is your oxygen saturation level. Okay, the signal that you see that goes up and down, I hope you have seen it already, up and down, it is called photoplethysmograph. Short form is PPG. Now, from now onwards, I'll just call it PPG. Okay. Now, this PPG is a very good indicator of heart rate and heart rate variability. In fact, in any cheap oximeter, you will get the indication of your heart rate. So, in very late, since this is a mixed badge, I'm not going to go involve into the technical details. Very simply, I'm putting it. If you have a flashlight, okay, like আমরা বাংলায় বলি torchlight. So if you have a torchlight or a flashlight, and if you stick your finger really up close to it and look it from behind, what will you see? You will see that your finger is turning red. Why? Because it has blood. Okay. Now, if I can put an optoelectronic sensor just at the other side with proper sensitivity, it can pick up the intensity. The keyword here is intensity. It can pick up the intensity of the your blood movement. Now, why does our blood move? It moves because of the pumping action of our heart. So the blood goes up to the tip and then comes back to heart. Okay. Now, if I can measure the intensity, I'll get the PPG signal. It will go up and then go down, go up and go down. Now, it is well understood, and also it is very trivial to imagine that the rate of going up and down, okay, is proportional to your heart pump. Okay, the faster it pumps, the faster it does this. So if I can track the peaks of these things, you get the heart rate. If I do some mathematical manipulation and find the variability of those peaks, I get HRV, which is called the heart rate variability, which is a great indicator of CAD disease, cardiac disease. Okay, now somebody thought that, okay, let us do it is a physics-based approach, right? That is why it is absolutely mandatory to have a 640 nanometer and 900 nanometer wavelength lights inside the oximeter. Okay, so nowadays I have already seen videos of oximeters wherein you put a pencil and it gives you reading. So those, I'm not talking about those things. A good oximeter should have at least two wavelengths. What are these two wavelengths? These are red and IR. Now, why are these two wavelengths chosen? This is a scientific answer, because your blood, in your body, there are two colors of blood. One is red and one is slightly blue. The pure one is red, the impure one is blue. So for those who are from Bengali background, who have studied Jivan Vigyan, Shira and Dhomoni, they carry red and blue. So that is why you need to have IR, which interacts with blue, and red, which interacts with the red color. So to improve the sensitivity, you have to have that sensor. Now, let's say somebody comes up with an app which claims that I have an app which can use your flashlight, your mobile flashlight, and I will record your SpO2 data. Now, if you dig back, in 2014, it was established that it can be done with a very limited accuracy. By 2016, one such app and device was already developed in our lab. It was tested. We went for FDA approval. By the way, FDA approval is mandatory for healthcare devices. So that is the authority that tells you, okay, you can market this product as a healthcare device. It never approved, and it will never be approved. Why? Because white, the light white, has all the frequencies present. So again, for those who are from electronics background, white noise. Additive white noise. You have read it, right? Additive white Gaussian noise. What does it mean? What does the word white mean? So very simply, if I say, if you add all the colors in a digital program such as Photoshop, if you add all the colors, you get white. What does it mean? If you add all the wavelengths, you get white. I'm not talking about physical paint. If you mix all the physical paint, you get black. I'm talking about digital color. Okay, I'm talking in terms of wavelength. If you mix all the wavelength, it becomes white. When I say I'm working with white noise, I mean it is a It is a noise which is present in all the band. It is not band limited. And in many good books, they offer, they offer name the band restricted noise as colored noise. Means it is restricted to one wavelength only, right? So basically what I'm trying to say is that your flashlight has white light or yellowish light, which does not support the technology. So how does these things work? They go for a data-driven approach. Okay, they will collect data more and more and more and more and data, and they will train the system and come up with an answer which is much more accurate to the actual one. Till date, none of the companies have got the FDA approval. Even the state-of-the-art Apple 6, smartwatch, even that doesn't have the FDA approval. So what they did, they changed the game. Okay, so they are the leaders in the market. What they did is they started branding that product as wellness device. So when you call a device as a wellness device, what does it mean for the consumer? For a consumer, it means if you trust that reading and if you fall into trouble, neither can you blame the doctor nor the company. Anyway, without an FDA approval, your doctor will not even sign on the report. Okay, that is the other discussion. So the key point here is people have tried, tested, and trying to develop data-driven approaches. It is at boom. One might also look into that. So these are two types of approaches for innovation. The one is physics-driven approaches. If you're interested in writing paper in Nature, you are essentially working in physics-driven approach. If you are publishing in somewhere else, then you are most probably working with data-driven approach, and you can be intermediary also. So like we do, we collect data from physical sensors. Once we have the data, we also do data-driven approaches. We also apply data-driven approaches. The third approach, also used to be very, very popular. Now it is very tough to write good papers or good journals using that method, is the heuristic approach. Now, what is that? Heuristic approach is, let's say I have a bunch of points, okay, scattered in space, and I want to fit a curve into that. So I use and I invoke a program such as MATLAB or Python, doesn't matter, and I fit a curve. Let's say the analytical solution is a fifth order polynomial. Okay. Now to improve the accuracy, it will not be accurate, right? It is an estimation. So to improve the accuracy, let's just say I inject, since it is a fifth order polynomial, I inject 5 weights or coefficients, whichever way you prefer, into the equation. Let's say alpha, beta, gamma, and so on and so forth. And then I do, hundreds and thousands of trials, okay, trial and misses, and I come up with 5 values. Now, if I write a paper or if I file a patent, I will call it a heuristic approach. So it doesn't have any logic. It is just based on trial and error. Nowadays, it is getting tougher and tougher and tougher to come up with these approaches, because scientists have understood the chalk, okay, how people, sort of write just for the sake of writing a paper. Now, what is important when you pass out from your college and you step into the domain of research, it will be absolutely mandatory to come up with inferences. You have found that alpha equal to 2 and beta equal to some value, so on and so forth, gives the best value. But why? Why not alpha equal to 2.1 is giving the same amount of accuracy? Answer to that is a very, very tough, to answer that is a very, very tough problem. So this is not as much booming as data driven, but the other two are really booming, and you should know about these two things. Okay. Now, as I said that, one might come up with a solution that I have invented something, it is working like a charm, it is really accurate to this device, this medical graded device, you should work it, and people do that. Okay, so there are companies like Facebook. What are they allowing you? They are allowing you to provide data to them voluntarily. If you remember 3-4 years back, if I took a photo of me and some of my friends, Facebook would ask me, would you like to tag this one, this person, that person? And I would gladly tag. What am I doing? I am basically putting an annotation to the data, and their image processing software at the background, image processing engine at the background is getting trained. And now it is so much powerful. Even if you can test it on your own, you take a photo of some of your friends you post it on Facebook, Facebook on 90% of it, on occurrences will correctly detect all the faces. How does it know? Because we have voluntarily given the data. The same approach is taken by many companies for years now. Okay, so they will they will provoke you, they will give you incentives, this and that. They will go into media and press, and they'll create a buzz around you so that you provide your data, so that their system trains really well. Sometimes it is good, sometimes it is really bad. Be aware of those situations, which we are not discussing here. Okay, another thing that I would like to point out about oximetry, or since we are talking about photoplethysmogram, so by 2016, understand this, nowadays there is a buzz that somebody has created an app, which is absolutely not true. They don't have FDA approval. Okay, what they are doing is basic marketing. So by 2016, there was an app, there was a system in our lab. In 2016, that was my first year in research, I wrote a paper on photoplethysmogram signal, which would basically find the emotion of a human being from the same PPG signal. Are you getting the point? So it is not new today. The way the media is branding, they have their own jargon, they have their own motive, their own things. So basically, whenever you look at anything which is data driven, use your analytical abilities yourself. If you, sometimes we would joke, like, if you trap a bunch of numbers in an Excel sheet, okay, and if you torture them well, if you torture them for long enough, they will tell you exactly what you want them to tell. So don't just get mind boggled by what you see, whatever you see in the media regarding corona. I have just gone through that phase. I hope you don't go through that phase on your own. Please don't trust anything. Use your own analytical abilities. Okay. Now coming to the pertinent question. So how do I know, or how do I register my innovation? How do I do that? Who is the authority? Who is the authority here that tells you, okay, boss, something you have invented and something you are claiming, it is actually an invention. It is not that only you are saying it is my invention. All the fraternity across the entire globe, all the scientists will have to agree that yes, this is an invention, this is an innovation, and two, you are the creator of the invention. This process is called patenting. Okay, so when you make a scientific discovery, you write a paper. Okay, you write a journal paper, you write a conference paper, you write a book chapter, you do a keynote. But when you innovate something, you file a patent. Now patents have their own jurisdictions. Okay, so some patent which is filed in India will not hold good in US. Okay, so you have patented something in India, you are the inventor. Somebody can just copy your whatever you have invented and make a product out of it in US and sell it and make profit of it. Okay, so there is another business segment related to it, how to patent and where to patent, and how to file a patent so that it actually gets granted. Okay, so in different jurisdictions, it takes different amount of times, US being the toughest of them all in terms of technicality, in terms of difficulty, and in terms of lagging, India is the worst. So if you file a patent and then you sleep for 2 years, after 2 years the decision will come. And by the way, patents is not like writing a journal. So if you write a journal, those who have already written a journal will know. So you have a rebuttal system. They will tell you, okay, you change this, you change that. I'm not, happy with the way you have done this experiment. Can you do this? Can you do that? And you submit. Then they come back again. Then it goes for 2-3 trials, and then finally it is, published or not published. It is not with the patent. You write a patent, it is accepted or rejected. Then by the time you get a rejection, somebody else has definitely patented that thing. It is a common practice. And if you look at the COVID situation problem in a greater detail, being out of this media jargon, you will understand the basic problem is patent. Okay, the pharmaceutical companies are not releasing their patents. Anyway, enough of patents. So this is another thing, as an innovator you should know right from your starting days of research. Okay, now let me also point out the difference between corporate research and research in academics. So which one you should do? Should you do research in academia? Should you go for a corporate research? So there is one difference, basic difference between these two. Research in academia focuses on problems that are self-generated, meaning I find my problem and I solve them. Generally, they focus more on the science part of it, not the technology part of it. And corporate problems are real life problems. There is no way you can find a problem on your own. There is no time for that. So some industry will come up and they, boss, in our oil factory, there is a problem. Can you solve it? In our IoT hub, in our manufacturing lab, I want to install an IoT solution, but this is the problem. All these robots, all these KUKA robots are showing this sort of problem. Can you solve that? Then you come up with a solution, maybe based on radar or ultrasound or whatever, and then you come up with a solution. So your problem statements are generally fed to you from the industry in corporate research, and in academia, it is the opposite way around. It is more focused towards the scientific part of it. It is more rigorous. It is more focused towards coming up with the correct answer, which may not be feasible. That's the point. There are many solutions available that is not feasible in today's technology. For example, like quantum computer. If you go into IEEE Explorer, and if you want to be a researcher, you should do it. Go to IEEE Explorer, go to Advanced tab, and search anything that comes up to your mind. Anything that comes up to your mind. Just download. I don't know whether you have the subscription in your college. If you don't, you should talk to your teachers. Maybe they will help you. Download 2-3 papers and just have, and you should have the habit of reading those things. You will have the understanding of how things work. Okay. So if you go by the process, you will understand there are many papers already written in quantum computing. There are algorithms. Can you believe there are algorithms available for quantum computing? And no one has, till date, no one has came up with a quantum computer. So we have the theory, we have the algorithms, but we don't have the computer itself. So this is the limitation of technology. This is the gap between academia research and industry research. And the buzzword here is interdisciplinary research nowadays, which what it does, it takes students from all sorts of research background and they come up with a solution. And there is a consortium, the concept of consortium. For example, we are in a consortium with IIT KGP, SMU, MIT, Carnegie Mellon University. So what does it mean? We can share data among us very freely. There is no question of asking, so you have to sign NDA and something like that. There is no need to that. There is a consortium. Anybody can use anybody's data, and there is a common problem at hand, a much bigger problem, which will require people and students from all sorts of domains, and they will come together and they will solve the problems. So it doesn't matter. Basically, what I'm trying to say, it doesn't matter whether you are in corporate research or whether you are in academia. If you are good, you will work in a good project. That's the bottom line. Okay. Now I have come to very last point where I would like to talk about my one invention. I think I have time, right? Just give me a second. Okay, so here was the problem. My office laptop didn't let me install Zoom because of the security policy, and my desktop doesn't have a webcam. So I'm using this mobile phone to have this video feed, but I also have my desktop running. I am also logged into this very virtual talk session from my desktop, and I'll try to share the PPT. Just let me know if you can see it. Okay. Oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Can somebody help me here?
Yes. So please host, just allow sir to present the PPT. Rajarshi sir.
Oh.
No. Rajarshi. Hello.
দেখছি মধুমিতা দিদা।
Okay.
রাজা দেখ তো শেয়ার হচ্ছে?
দেখছি রে দাঁড়া I just lost the file. Where was it? Just give me a moment. Sorry for the delay. Discuss. Okay. No, it still says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Okay, please wait for some time, please.
Yeah, sure.
And
Okay, I think let's not waste time. We are already running out of time. I'll just talk about it. Is that okay?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So out of all my inventions that I've been a part of, or I've been the principal innovator of the systems and devices, this one is the closest to my heart. So what happened is that in 2017 I went to visit a doctor friend in, I'm not going to take name, in some government hospital in Kolkata, and incidentally I was taken to a COPD ward. So if you don't know what it is, it stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Okay. So unfortunately, the government doesn't enough spend focus on this particular disease the way it spends on lungs cancer. It is an ailment to your lungs. Okay. Now let me talk about the severity of it. It is the number 2 non-communicable diseases in the world, just after CAD. Okay, it kills more people than corona every year. Okay, and the death, it is also not easy. I'm not going to describe it here, but just you can look it up. It is not easy. It is very, very painful. Okay, so what I did is I came back to my office, spoke to some of the authority, and had a plan. And I was blessed that they agreed to my plan and they allowed me to run out a project on that. So what we did is that till date, the gold standard to detect whether you have COPD or not is spirometry. It is a very difficult test. Okay, so there is a pipe which is called a blowpipe, which you have to put inside your mouth and blow like really, really, really hard. Okay. So
Hello?
during the testing process, I'll come up.
Sorry for interrupting. Hello,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Sir, I am watching that you have logged in from 2 profiles.
Yes. I said now I am logged in from my desktop also and this mobile also.
Okay, sir. One profile of yours has been made co-host. Now, please try to share screen from that profile.
I think it's the other profile that I need to be co-host to.
Okay. I'm making that. Okay.
Yeah. If you do that, I'll be able to share that.
Okay. Okay, there is I am not getting any option to make co-host the other profile of yours.
Okay, so let it be.
Okay, I'm trying. Okay, you continue, sir.
Yeah, then just let it be. Okay, I just wanted to show you the image of the actual product. That's all. Nothing technical. Since it is a mixed bag, I don't want to go into the technical details. I don't have time either. So anyway, so where was I? So the spirometry, the toughness of the spirometry, it is a very hard test. So during the testing phase, I went to a clinic where the plan was to test our device against a medically graded 1.5 liter spirometer. So I was asked to take the test. I failed 5 times.
Sir, sorry for interrupting, sir. I have made your two
Oh, yes,
profiles.
yes. Who is this? Is it Pintu?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So
It's okay.
it is Subhashis, right? I'm sorry, bhai.
Okay.
Okay. So here is the problem statement, and I'll come to the device later. Okay. So let us talk about carry on the adda. Okay. So I failed 5 times. It is so hard a test to take. I failed 5 times. I could not comply with the system. It is not that the system was telling, boss, you have COPD. No, I could not complete the test. It was so difficult. It was so painful for me. On the 6th occasion, I passed, and the system said that, okay, I don't have COPD. Imagine I am a healthy guy with no lungs history. Imagine for a person who is 65, 70 plus, already has COPD, how difficult is it for them? Add to that the scarcity of the device itself. In Kolkata, there are many places where you can do a spirometry for $3,000 or something like that. But if you're in village, there is no chance. On top of that, in villages, the issue is people or doctors often mix COPD with asthma. They will simply do a bronchodilator test and tell you have asthma, and you are given a dose of asthma for the entirety of your lifetime, and you will die out of a very slow, painful death. This disease is irreversible, meaning once you have it, you have it. This device is non-communicable. I'm just trying to explain these words, okay? So as to make my innovation good. That's the point. Anyway, so, okay. So can you still see me? I see a big N here. Or if I share, you can, okay, well, I understand. If I'm sharing from these profiles, that is why you cannot see. Okay, fine. So, this is it is non-communicable, meaning by the time you have any symptom, you already have the device, at least 20%. And if you have it 30%, you are booked for a lifetime. There is no way you are coming back. Of course, treatment can slow the process, but there is no coming back. So all these factors came into action, and we thought, what can we do to help those people? Okay. So our approach here, can you see if I change the slide? Can you see the slide number 3?
Yes,
now?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So on the left, you can see a spirometer device, and on the right, you can see the device that we proposed. Okay. Here is a simple 3D printed pipe. Okay. I'm not showing the electronics right now. This is the blowpipe that we designed. Okay. Now this blowpipe has 2 ultrasound sensors placed in inside it. Now think of it in this way. If one of the transmitters sends and one of the ultrasound acts as a transmitter, it transmits, the other receives. So there is definitely a path difference. So basically there is a time of flight between these 2 sensors. Of course, if I send you a ball, if I throw you a ball, it will take some amount of time to reach to you. That time is called time of flight. Now, your blowing signal, the breathing signal that you are injecting, bidirectional, breathing in and breathing out, is actually perturbating the path. So you are actually changing the time of flight, the time you are changing. If you can track that time, you can track the breathing. That was the convention. Okay. So how did we change the game? How could we patent? By the way, if you want to patent something, I forgot to tell you, I should have told you that. That is why people should make PPTs. I should have made that. So if you want to write a patent, there is only one clause. It has to be unique. It has to be unique. You cannot claim a patent on some fancy code. No, it is not patentable. Codes are not patentable. Mathematical manipulation is not patentable. You have to have some uniqueness. And the other point, please keep in mind, it should not be obvious. Not be obvious. This is a very big thing that I learned in a very, very harsh way. Okay. I don't want you to fall into the trap. It should not be obvious. What does it mean? If I can give you 5 patents from Apple, Google, Samsung, I don't care. If I can give you 5 patents, and if it is obvious that I mix and match those technologies in any way, it becomes a new invention that is not patentable. You can, of course, write a paper. You can of course write, journal paper, conference paper, but patenting it will not be granted. It will, they will just reject it on the ground of obviousness. Okay, so that is one thing that I wanted to tell you. Okay, so where was our obviousness? Our obviousness is we changed the paradigm how it is sensed. Okay, earlier, so this project was on 2017, 2018-ish, I guess. So on that time of flight was only the measurement technique. We changed the game from time of flight to phase measurement. Electronics students will definitely know by this time, if you are even in your first year or second year, there is sine theta, sine omega t, and there is sine omega t plus phi. That phi is the difference in your phase. So if I send the transmitting signal and if I receive it, there is a phase difference. Now, if I blow inside that phase also gets perturbed, and we can track that. The only issue is ultrasound is lightning fast. Okay, I should not say lightning fast because it is lesser than light, but it is fast. Okay, than your breathing signal. Of course, you breathe at a much lesser velocity than your ultrasound. So to separate something which is very feeble, very slow from a background which is really fast and really dominant was the challenge, and that challenge we addressed. I'm going to second slide. So these are the uniquenesses. I tried my best to make it understandable to all of you. Not going into details. There are RF modules, phase shifter, this, that. So this is the in-house printed pipe. Okay, you can see the blow nozzle at one end. The 20-degree angle is the output of a research, and this is a physics-based approach. This 20-degree is not a heuristic approach. There is a lot amount of physics going here. So you need to take care of the headroom. You need to take care of the interferences between these two transmitters and receivers. It took a lot of time. By 2017, this design only, not the technology, not the product, this device only was patented across 5 different locations: India, EPO meaning Europe, Australia, Japan, and US. Then we came up with this system. If you can see at the top, at the bottom, you can see the lady. She is Anneshadi, one of my colleagues. She is actually doing the test, and on top you can see our device. I don't know whether you can see or not. Our device is in series with a 3-liter calibration syringe, which is basically a syringe that you measure the air pressure. So the accuracy was more than 90%. On the right, you can see the detected raw breathing signal. Bear with me, this is raw signal, this is not filtered. Okay, so I can see the going up and going down of signals, which is basically your inhale and exhale. This is the actual electronics. By the way, this is a proof of concept. This is not a product. So that is why it looks so ugly. Okay, if somebody takes up the design, our company doesn't deal with healthcare. We need to partner with some healthcare company which will do the front end business. We are in communication with Singapore hospitals. We are in communication with Fortis Kolkata. So this is the actual system. And on the bottom, you can see again the raw signal where I have shown no respiration and respiration. You can see things are going up and going down. You are very familiar with this signal if you know how to measure your pulse oximeter, how to use your pulse oximeter. You see a similar kind of thing. The signals go up and go down, although the technologies and range of applications is completely different. I'm just trying to give you an analogy. Okay, I'm running out of time. Okay, so here is the basic research that has gone into it. Okay, so until now a system patent was filed again in 5 jurisdictions. Till date, all of them are granted. Okay. This is the next phase that I was talking about. This is the data-driven phase. So now I have a physical system. I have the data. Now it is my turn or opportunity to make inferences from the data. At this position, we collected data from 20 smokers and 20 non-smokers in our lab, and we showed that this device can actually distinguish between a smoker and a non-smoker. Okay, so there are steps how you make a claim. You cannot just make a blatant claim that I have made something which can detect COPD. No, First, you need to take baby steps. First step is, okay, it can basically tell you that whether you are a smoker or a non-smoker. That thing is past. Now we have to collaborate. We already in collaboration with Fortis Hospital. We will collect data from actual COPD patients, and we will show that this device can actually detect that this person has COPD. Okay. So these are the sensitivity, specificity. You can read it out. Do I have anything? No, I don't have anything. Okay, so should I stop sharing now? I'm back, right? You can see me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. So this was the innovation. So the first phase until the up to the sensor design, we had a conference paper. Up until the actual physical device synthesis, the POC, the proof of concept that I showed you, we had one journal. Until now, we have 2 journals, worldwide patents for the entire end-to-end system. So this is another type of patents. You can patent on a device, you can patent on a system. We tried to patent the device, it is already patented somewhere. We could not get hold of the obviousness clause, okay? Because we have already filed a patent on the principle, the phase measurement principle, when we patented the pipe. So we were self-plagiarizing us. So we had to discard it. We filed for a system, end-to-end system patent. Our main intention was to come up with something which is much lesser than, it should be 100 rupees product that anybody in a country like ours, we can do it for monitoring. So we are not claiming that this is a diagnostic tool. Diagnostic tool is still spirometry. That is still the gold standard. Can we contribute in a much cheaper price that a mass can use? That was the goal. It is still under process. I think I have told enough. If there is 6 minutes of time, I will just take 1 minute to address the last point. I have a few suggestions, advices, not as a researcher from a lab, not anything like that. For next 1 minute, consider me as, how would I put it, your college dada. So there are many dadas in Bengali fraternity. There is Parat dada, there is college dada, there is Nijet dada, then there is Gecho dada. So consider me the engineering college dada. If I have to give one suggestion, and if you take away 1 point from this entire blabbering, if you forget everything, you are free to forget. Just mind 1 point. If you want to do good in your career, if you want to be a good engineer, if your focus is not just MNC, which will give you a routine job, boss, stop reading metrics. Start focusing on textbooks, good textbooks. Your goal should be to write GATE meaning GATE exam, and clear it. Doesn't matter which stream you are in, doesn't matter which career you want to pursue. The standard should be up to that. Okay. I am not familiar with other domains. I can suggest you about electronics. Start reading Razavi for semiconductor physics and analog devices. Start reading Streetman Benjamin if you are interested into semiconductor physics, the quantum part of it. I think it is in 3rd semester. Okay. Then there is Oppenheim-Wilski for signal systems. Then there is Van Valkenburg for circuit theory. This is an absolute must. If you are good in circuit theory, boss, your life is settled. You take it from me. If you are good with circuits, your life is settled. You don't have to look back. So this is my number 1 suggestion that I have in mind. Do I have any other suggestion? No. I think I'm done. If you have any questions, I'll feel free to answer.
Students, do you have any questions? So you may ask now.
If you don't have any question now, if you find yourself in any question, I have already shared my official email ID with Obrita. Basically, both of them are family to me. That is why I'm calling them by their nickname. So you can take that from her.
Sir, Pritambar Mondal wants to ask something.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Pritambar.
Yeah,
If you
please,
want to
please.
ask something, then you may ask.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Actually, সার্কিট থিওরির যে রাইটারের নামটা বললেন একটু কাইন্ডলি আরেকবার রিপিট করবেন?
Van Valkenburg. Van Valkenburg. Do I have the book here? No, I guess. Van Valkenburg. But
Semiconductor
boss, don't
physics?
start with Van Valkenburg. It is a really tough book. You should start with Boyle
A
State.
চক্রবর্তী, I started from
No.
আমি
Absolutely not. No. I'm being very respectful to that. It is a bunch of problems assembled in a book. That's all. You don't see to create to build concept. You need to study things. If you start reading Van Valkenburg, the first chapter talks about why you cannot put two current sources in parallel. Things like that. Why can you not, you can't put two ideal current sources in parallel? Sorry, ideal current sources. Things like that. If you are really interested in circuit theory, just go to NPTEL and search Professor S.C. Datta Roy. He is a father figure in signal system, a professor from IIT Delhi. I had the privilege to meet him once, only once. And not meet him, see him from at a distance. He is so, father figure. I didn't have the courage to go and talk to him. I was a student there. Okay, you just go to NPTEL, download or look at those courses and you follow him blindly. You will be a master on that. And once you do that, go back to Van Valkenburg and start solving problems. There is a book by R.K. Kanodia. Since you are interested, I'm just telling you. There is a book by R.K. Kanodia which has beautifully designed problems. If you solve that book, boss, gate is easy peasy. You will just crack it. You just need to solve that book. But solving that book is not easy. That book became so popular that earlier it used to come in one module. Then they broke it in 10, 11 pieces. And now they sell it that way. It has become so popular. I am not aware of the current, the standard of the current version. I'm talking about the version of 2013 when I wrote GATE. It is an absolute gem. If you are even more interested, go into IIT Madras, look for Professor Anirudh. And there was some other guy. I forgot his name. I'll let you know later. They have their own courses in their own website. So IIT Madras is the only institute in India which offers a course which is tied to TI. So you get a gate score below 100, you will admitted to that course. From day one, you will get salary from TI. Your job is guaranteed, but there is a bond, you cannot leave. So it is a joint collaboration between TI, Texas, and IIT Madras. Dr. Aniruddha is one of the professors in that course, and there are 3 other professors. I cannot remember those names. If you go through their lectures, you will be a master of the trade. And this is the right time. You have pandemic, people are stuck, you have enough time. Just go through those things. If you just study circuit theory, signals and systems, these 2 will take you, you don't know, you will have wings, you can do anything. Okay, so if you have any other questions, even in future, you can mail me. I will not be write you back because our system, official system, doesn't allow us to write back to emails such as Google or Yahoo. I can only write back to institutes. You can just Google my name, Raj Rokshit, you can Google it. The first link that comes up, I think it is on the photoplethysmogram work that I mentioned here, or some other work. If you do a backtracking, you will find my LinkedIn, ResearchGate, Facebook, whatnot. Just connect with me. Let me know that we interacted in this session, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Treat me as your college Prakton Dada. I'll be happy to help.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there any other
name,
question?
by the way, Van Valkenburg. Did you get the name?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other question from student side? So I think, sir, there is no questions from student
you.
side. So thank you, sir.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for making me a part of this great institute. I'm very privileged.
Okay,
Thank
sir. Thank you, sir, for these wonderful sessions. And I, on behalf of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management and the entire team of Institutions Innovation Council, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to our speaker, Mr. Raj Rakshit, for gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. So my sincere gratitude to our principal ma'am for her enthusiasm and encouragement to arrange this webinar. I also wish to express my gratitude to all the HOD sir of different departments and all the members of Institutions Innovation Council of Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. And thank you to all the participants for being with us. So thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm dropping. Thanks.